Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Progressive Vibe. I am your host, Dodrick King. Today's date is November 7th, 2021. This is Season 5, Episode 9. And the title of this episode, Critiquing Mainstream Media. So in today's show, we will discuss a much-needed critique that the mainstream media should really think about going forward when it comes to reporting on political issues. I don't have a particular article to present to you guys today in this episode, but I do want to share with you some important poll data numbers that I think would be useful and also telling that the United States agree on a lot more substantive issues than what mainstream media portrays most of the time. The Progressive Vibe motto is providing you with the facts, letting people know the only agenda here is working to better the lives of ordinary people. We are all human at the end of the day, and if we can provide some sort of clarity when it comes to the news, we will continue to provide that outlet, of course, with the help of you guys, the TP Vibe listeners. So I want to start off by saying thank you for liking and sharing and donating to the show. The Good Pods, if anybody has ever heard of Good Pods, it is a award-winning podcast app. It's very, very well known, at least on Twitter it is. And we are on Good Pods. The Progressive Vibe is on Good Pods now, and they recently sent me a email saying that the show is number 22 on their 100 top 100 chart list, and number 4 in independent podcast on that app. And I want to just start off by saying to you guys, it wouldn't be possible without you guys providing that listenership that you do. And again, listening every week, the consistency is honestly awesome. It's astounding. And I'm just so humbled that we get to do this together, and other people are joining the party, if you will. No pun intended. But again, guys, I just want to emphasize that I don't do this show for money. I don't do this show for viewership. I do it because it's just something that makes me feel good, and I have a passion in politics because I sincerely believe that we, no matter white, black, Asian, Latino, Republican, Democrat, Independent, right, left, centrist, when we're talking about ordinary people, I'm not talking about the corporate elite. I'm not talking about the ultra wealthy. I'm talking about the working class people of this country, the backbone of this country. Honestly, we have a lot more to agree on than we do when it comes to disagreement. I think that is a fact, and I think that these numbers that I'm going to share with you guys is going to emphasize that in the main show. But I did want to share with you guys the Good Pods information. If you haven't checked Good Pods out, download the app, and also add us on Good Pods, the Progressive Vibe. It's a super, super awesome app. If you're a podcast listener, I'm sure you've already heard about this app. And also I posted it on social media several days ago. So if you follow me on social media, you probably already seen that information. But it's just super awesome, guys, and I couldn't thank you enough because, again, as I always say, there wouldn't be the Progressive Vibe without you guys, the TP Vibe listeners. So again, thank you, thank you, thank you. However you show love to the show is greatly appreciated. Again, as you know, sharing the Progressive Vibe on social media is the most effective way to get our message out, and it is all totally free. The Progressive Vibe is on all platforms. You can listen and get your podcast. That's Podchaser, that's Podbean, that's Good Pods, as I just stated. But yeah, guys, add me on those platforms. It definitely goes a long way also. And on that note, let's get into today's show plug. So if you have anything you want me to discuss on the show, you can follow me on Twitter. My handle is @Dottie_Vibe. That's DODI_VIBE. And you can use that hashtag TPVibe, TPVIBE on Twitter to, interact with the show. Let me know that you're listening to the show and things like that. Or you can send me a message from the contact form on the show's website. Also, you can stay in touch with the show to get every new episode delivered straight to your inbox. You can do all of this on the show's website. The show's website is theprogressivevibe1849703666.wordpress.com. Again, that's theprogressivevibe1849703666.wordpress.com. Last but not least, if you want to help us make the show and sustain future episodes in the future, you can become a monthly supporter on the show's website that I just gave you. It was been a couple of listeners of the show, new listeners of the show, that wanted to know how they could subscribe to the show. And yeah, you can go to that website that I just gave you, or the link that I usually share on Twitter or on Facebook. Once you hit that link, it'll take you to Spotify. It'll take you to the main page of the show, and right underneath the title of the show, The Progressive Vibe, it should be a support button. And when you hit that support button, it's going to have 3 tiers that you can choose from: 99-cent one, a $4.99 one, and a $9.99 one. But if you don't want to do that, we have a Cash App. The show has a Cash App, and the show's Cash App tag is Dottie D92. That's DAHDEE92. And before we close out the intro, guys, one other quick note. Merch. We have coffee mugs coming. They're being made. I have to sort out some details and other little things, but I'm going to keep everyone in the mix and update you as I get updated on the coffee mugs. So I haven't forgot about you guys. Thank you also for even wanting to purchase one. It's so awesome that people have reached out and wanted to purchase coffee mugs for the show. And again, I always say, what's a podcast without a coffee mug? So there's that, guys. On that note, let's get into today's main show. I'll see you on the other side. Hey guys, welcome to the main show. So let's jump right into this. As I said in the intro, I wanted to share with you guys some important data poll numbers that I feel like is going to furtherly emphasize what I mean by when I say, regardless of what party affiliation you are in, majority of Americans agree with the progressive agenda. Okay. Um, as the weeks have been passing by, flying by, um, it's been in this stalemate of negotiations with the Democratic Party. Remind you, the Democrats control the House, the Senate, and they have the executive office. Okay. The Build Back Better plan, as we know, is President Biden's agenda. Okay. You have two separate bills that the Democrats are trying to pass. One is the so called bipartisan infrastructure bill, and then the other is the reconciliation bill or the spending bill or the Build Back Better agenda. Okay. We have progressives have already made a we've already had an understanding, an agreement on passing both bills at the same time. Well, we have people within the party who want to just pass the infrastructure bill, the bipartisan infrastructure bill. Okay. They don't want to pass the spending bill for whatever corrupt beliefs or ideas that they express um, to be given on that situation. I think that the reason that you have the two, and honestly, it's more, but these are the two who have been more open about it. West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin and Arizona Senator Kristen Sinema have been super reluctant to support the bill because, as we've seen, they are being compromised by their donors. Joe Manchin doesn't want to support the Build Back Better agenda because it addresses climate change. Joe Manchin receives money from dirty coal that causes him not to want to support that legislation. His donors does not want him to support that because his donors gives him money to not support that. So he wants that provision out the bill. Kristen Sinema doesn't want Medicare to negotiate drug prices for prescription drugs. Elderly people pay way too much money for prescription drugs. If we were to pass the bill in its entirety, the Build Back Better agenda, it would have Medicare would be allowed to negotiate pharmaceutical drug prices to make drug costs cheaper for the elderly. Christian Cinema does not want that to happen because she is being compromised because she takes money from her donors who are a part of Big Pharma who does not want her to vote on that legislation. So she wants that out too. And we see that Biden's support is dropping. No shock. We see that the Democratic support is dropping. No shock. We can point to all sorts of key races that happened last week to point that the moderate agenda that these Democrats are trying to run on, it's not good enough. And I think that the mainstream media has a job to call a spade a spade. The reason that the Democrats are losing support, Biden is losing support. For example, Terry McAuliffe, the former governor out of Virginia who lost to, I think his name is Glenn Youngstown, conservative um, candidate running out of the state of Virginia, he won. And the things that the corporate media, mainstream media, and other corporate Democrats point to is, well, if we just would have passed the bipartisan infrastructure bill that the progressives were not in agreement on, then Terry McAuliffe would have won. No, 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 no. The reason Terry McAuliffe lost was because he wasn't progressive enough. Let's get that straight. He is about the most corporate centrist Democrat that you're going to find, and he lost not because the bipartisan infrastructure bill was passed. It was because he was not progressive enough with his stance on key issues that affects everyday American people's lives. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. You can't blame the progressives for pointing out the hypocrisy in the Democratic Party. You can't get mad at them for pointing that out because they're just going by what the data shows them. And what the data shows them is, let's get into these numbers, shall we? The provisions of the Build Back Better plan enjoy majority support from all voters. Okay? So let's break down what provisions are in the Build Back Better agenda. Long-term care investments, expanding Medicare to include hearing, dental, vision, housing investments, clean energy and conservation jobs, child care investments, universal pre-K, earned income tax expansion, higher education subsidies, tax credits for ACA recipients, child tax credit extension. All these things, all these provisions are in the Build Back Better agenda. So I wanted to give you guys the numbers on a majority of voters support the Build Back Better plan. So this is just the poll, not on the provisions, but just a majority of voters support the Build Back Better plan. It says that 89% of Democrats support it, 54% of independents support it, 33% of Republicans support it. As a whole, of all voters, 61% supports the agenda. So that's Democrats, Independents, Republicans combined. The total support is overwhelming. It's over 50%, well over 50%. It's 61%. The net gains from all voters on this agenda was plus 29, Democrats plus 83, Independents plus 19, and the Republicans it dropped. It minus 28. But again, pay attention to this Republican number because I want to go back to that. The net worth, not the net gain, excuse me, is minus 28 on the Republicans. But again, as a whole on the agenda, it has support of 61%. Okay. So a majority of voters support the Build Back Better plan when told how it would be paid for. This is another poll. It says that 89% of Democrats support it, 57% of independents support it, and 34% of Republicans support it. A total support of 62%. So of all voters, it's 62%. So the majority of the country supports it. Net gains 84 plus 84 for Democrats, plus 25 independents, minus 27 for Republicans. Again, we're going to come back and address the dip with the Republicans. But again, majority of the country supports the agenda. Okay? So a plurality of voters think the American economy will benefit from passing the Build Back Better agenda. This is another poll. 46% of voters agree. And when we break that down by party lines, it's 71% of Democrats think that the American economy will benefit from passing the legislation. 43% of independents and only 18% of Republicans. So this poll is a little bit lower than the other polls. And the only reason I think that it is low as it is because it hasn't been passed. It hasn't been passed. If you keep your promise and you pass the things that you run on and that the American people overwhelmingly agree on, as the other two polls that I just read indicates, these numbers would be obviously higher in my estimation. But as I said, I wanted to go back to the Republican standpoint and why are the numbers so low? Because when you break these down from a provision standpoint, that means taking Biden's name out of it, taking the Build Back Better title out of it. When we're just talking about the provisions, it's overwhelmingly higher than the other polls, which included the Build Back Better agenda, because again, it's by President Biden's. Even though these provisions are by President Biden. And let's break the numbers down. So it says as a whole, 78% of the country supports long-term care investments. 75% of the country supports expanding Medicare to include hearing, dental, vision. 66% of the country supports housing investments. 63% of the country supports clean energy and conservation jobs. 63% of the country supports childcare investments. 63% of the country supports universal pre-K. 60% of the country supports earned income tax expansion. 59% of the country supports higher education subsidies. 56% of the country supports tax credits for ACA recipients, and 51% of the country supports child tax credit extension. So when we break these down from a provision standpoint, majority of Americans agree that they want this. And we have a mainstream media in this country that doesn't seem to think that expressing these numbers, providing this type of information to the ordinary person out there, um, they don't think that it's sexy enough. And I'm going to elaborate more on what I mean by that after the break. We have to take a quick break. But again, what do you think of those poll numbers? You can find those poll numbers at dataforprogress.com if you like to look over those numbers yourselves. What do you think about that? Because to me, it's very, very striking that um, they're more willing to talk about culture wars than actually talking about substantive issues that the country faces that can be provided with data context. It's just that simple. If you provide these numbers to your audience, people will be more likely to be like, huh, you know what? Yeah, I do want that. Yeah, why is the agenda being held up? They will start to explore these questions. So after we come back, we're going to further break down this, guys. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hey guys, welcome back from the break. So let's get back into this. What I was meaning about when I said that the media doesn't think that, expressing those numbers to their audience is sexy enough is because I've came to a conclusion on everybody a part of the mainstream media is in their corporate bubble, their corporate circle. And things like that doesn't seem to penetrate their minds whatsoever. Because, it seems like they have a MO, and that means um, keeping the status quo what it is. And it's very, very telling because the right wing media does it and the left wing media does it. And honestly, all of it is just infuriating because at the end of the day, you're in the business to provide journalism, to provide the news. You're not in that business to you're not in that business to profit. You're not in that business to keep the status quo because that will be beneficial towards you and the people in your circle, in your corporate bubble. That's not your job to do that. Your job is to provide the facts. And I always hear about, you have some news pundits say, well, that's the politician's job. Okay, well, yeah, it's the politician's job. But if you're going to report the news, please report it accurately. That's all we're asking. That's all we're asking is to report the news accurately. Not saying that they don't report the news, not saying that they don't provide some context to what's going on throughout, the country. But it just seems like when we're talking about helping ordinary people, regular people, providing them with more of a um what can I call it? A social security net in some regards. Providing structural beneficial things that's going to improve their daily lives. It always comes back to this thing of, well, how are they going to pay for it? Because it's going to, but it's just, it infuriates me because nobody on the news, when they are passing a multi-trillion dollar military budget bill, nobody ever says, how are you going to pay for it? But as soon as we're directing resources to the working class people, the low income people, it's always this, how are you going to pay for it method. And to me, honestly, it's gaslighting. Because one, either the mainstream media don't know what's going on outside their bubble, which is pretty pathetic, honestly. Or two, they just don't give a damn because it's not affecting them. To me, those are the two things that it could possibly be. And either of them are good, in my opinion. I mean, for example, you had Anderson Cooper the other day on CNN. He asked Terry McAuliffe, um, lost because the Democratic Party is too far left. What the hell does that mean? It's just weird, man. It's just weird. No, Terry McAuliffe was a centrist Democrat, and he wasn't progressive enough. That's why he lost. Our president is a centrist. Joe Biden is a centrist. And it seems like all of these centrists are blocking popular policies, again, from passing in Congress. But as soon as a moderate or a centrist Democrat loses, they want to push the blame on the progressives. Now, if Terry McAuliffe would have won, they would have said, "Well, hey, look, this is what the people want. They want us. They want a centrist Democrat." You got to be kidding me! Like, you cannot make this stuff up. And if it wasn't so detrimental, it would be hilarious, honestly. And I'm going to take a point out of what former Ohio Senator Nina Turner said. It's their owner donors. All of these people collaborate with the same donors. It seems from the eyeball test. That's what it seems. They want to keep the status quo, and that goes for um that goes for people within mainstream media news. That goes for a majority of politicians that are in Washington D.C. And again, that just goes back to the fact of needing to take corporate needing to take money out of politics. When you go into Congress, it should be it should be necessary for you not to take corporate PAC money, because as we see, it influences people from doing the right thing at the end of the day for their constituents, whether you are a Republican or a Democrat. And the main two people I can point to as of now is Joe Manchin, Senator Joe Manchin out of West Virginia, and Senator Kristen Sinema out of Arizona. I mean, you can see it as plain as day. So before I end this segment, I just want to say, let's stop caring. Us as progressives, let's stop caring too much about what they say and continue to do our own thing. Because at the end of the day, the numbers speak for themselves. The people are on our side when it comes to policies, their progressive policies. The things that Biden called for in his own agenda that he seems to be dialing back on because, I don't know, maybe his donors have reached out to him and said, hey, look, we got to dial this back some. All of those provisions that I just named you in the last segment, those are progressive policies. And I guarantee you, it's more than just two Democrats within the party who don't want to see it passed, meaning the uh, Build Back Better agenda. They rather just have that bipartisan infrastructure bill passed. Because it's something that their donors allowed them to vote on, to agree with. And that's just not good enough. That's just not good enough. And it's starting to show in polling. It's starting to show in these key races. And honestly, in 2022, midterms is right around the corner. If the party doesn't get its act together, then yeah, they're going to lose all power. They're going to lose the House. They're going to lose the Senate. They already have little room for error. And you can't continue to point the finger at the progressives. You can't continue to point the finger at the Republicans. The Republicans aren't even in power. And so time and time after again, the Democrats are in their own way because they have interests that lie somewhere else. And we have to continue to exploit that. And we have a obligation, I feel, here to continue to speak truth to power because the people has to know that they're getting screwed over. I mean, it's very, very simple. The Dems have not delivered on one promise they made. So people are not going to be excited to turn up and vote for the Democrats, especially if they're acting like Republicans and kill things, kill bills that people overwhelmingly want, whether you are a Republican or a Democrat, like the $15 minimum wage, like free tuition college, like expanding Medicare. It's going to be no need to vote if both parties support the donor class and not the working class. But when we come back, guys, we're going to have the social media break of the show. You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned, and we will be right back. Hey guys, welcome back. This is the social media break of the program, so I do hope you enjoy. But before I start reading off of Twitter, I do want to say I get into rants a lot. If you're a new viewer, I wanted to again express my apologies for getting to my rants. If you are a daily, or if you are a listener of the show, you've been a listener of the show, you know that I get into these these rants occasionally. I actually wanted these segments to be 10 minutes a piece, and they end up being 17. So 7 minutes of each segment were definitely me just ranting. And the reason that I rant is because, I want to provide you guys information. I want to keep you guys up to speed on what's going on. But occasionally, I'm not gonna lie, I get into these passionate vent sessions about what's going on in the country, because it sucks. It really, really sucks. The American people deserves so much more out of their government, and we have these constant roadblocks, whether it's culture war, whether it's economic standpoints, things that I feel like gets us off of topic on what is the greater good. Like, we know we should be paid a lot more on these corporation jobs. We know that. So we don't need to be preached upon about it. We don't need to be talking about how, well, people should try to find another occupation. People that are making less, they're just not working hard enough. No, damn all that. If we would have kept up with inflation from the early 1960s, everybody, the bare minimum, people would be making at least $22 to $24 an hour. So you can miss me with all the stuff about people just don't want to work hard enough. The American people have, became entitled because people are asking more money from the job that they work at, because they feel like they're being undervalued, because they want better working conditions, because they're spending majority of their life dedicated to these corporations, making them money. Like that's the stuff that gets me upset, because it's essentially saying that the people, the ordinary people of this country, the working people of this country, who are the backbone of this country, are being used as pawns for these politicians who were elected to do the job that the American people wanted them to do. And when you have people that are in these high positions that are just looking out for their own financial gains, but on the campaign trail, you wanted to talk about the things that were popular to the American people, but you don't want to deliver for them when you get bought off, then yeah, that's going to make me upset. And I'm going to probably vent more times than not. So I do appreciate you guys hanging in there with me and accepting, me for who I am on that, because it's not going to stop. I reassure you that it's not going to stop. If you listen to the Progressive Vibe on a regular basis, then you already know that it comes with the territory. But I digress on that. Let's get into these Twitter posts. This is from Robert Wright. She says, so let me get this straight. Aaron Rodgers can spread misinformation about vaccines, but Colin Kaepernick can't speak the truth about racial injustice. Very good point. Jink Uger, CEO of TYT, says on Twitter, core group of 6 Justice Democrats voted no. That is a brave act of rebellion. This begins to restore hope that there are some who did not give into Democratic leadership bullying. Thank you for fighting for us. AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, Jamal Bowman, Cori Bush, Ayanna Pressley, and so forth. All of Justice Democrats. Let's see. Bernie Sanders says on Twitter, interesting. Conservative Dems want to make sure that the Build Back Better is fully paid for at exactly the same time that they voted for an infrastructure bill that, according to the CBO, increases the federal deficit by $250 billion. Not very consistent. Very good point. Very good point. It's always, how are you going to pay for that when it comes to helping the American people? But when it comes to giving corporate handouts, it's always, you never hear anything about that, how you're going to pay for it. A good buddy of mine in real life, Chance Eads on Twitter says, volunteering at the Phoenix Pride Parade with the Adrian Funts campaign was a blast. Happy Pride, everyone, and vote for Adrian Funts for Arizona Secretary of State. My buddy Chance recently moved from Alabama to Arizona, and we talked not too long ago. He's liking it. I adore his parents. His parents are very, very passionate, loving people, and I'm just so happy to see someone like Chance, a brilliant young mind, getting in the fight and actually putting boots on the ground, knocking at doors, campaigning for people who he thinks that are going to have a positive impact in throughout Arizona and potentially the country. And he has pictures on here that he posted from the get together. It's so nice to see, and I'm just so happy for him. And Chance, if you're listening to this podcast, keep doing your thing, buddy. You got my full support here at the Progressive Vibe, that's for sure. And last but not least, this is also from Bernie Sanders. He says, pop quiz. Take 1,500 pharmaceutical lobbyists up on Capitol Hill. Add them together with 535 members of Congress. What do you get? If you guess the American people paying the highest prices on the planet for prescriptions, you guess right. Let's end Big Pharma's greed. That's going to do it for the social media break of the show, guys. I hope you liked what you heard. When we come back, we will close out the show. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. That's going to wrap up today's episode. I hope everyone enjoyed today's program. I always have a blast with you guys. Quick things before we get out of here. As I said in the intro, we're doing great when it comes to viewership. Thanks to you guys, the Progressive Vibe is continually to grow, and I'm just so humbled about it. I want to, again, express my gratitude for you guys on liking the show, on sharing the show, getting the word out to more people, and even donating to the show. It just goes a long way. People don't have to listen to the show. People have a lot of other things that they could be doing with their time. But I just want to thank the people for taking out the time to even listen to the podcast. Some people don't even like listening to podcasts, but they reached out to me and they say, hey, I checked out your podcast because, I wanted to support the show. And that just goes a long way with me. Not the money, not the notoriety that comes with it or whatever. It's just people taking the time out and just listening to someone who has the best interest for everybody. I don't have all the power. I don't have all the answers. The damn show don't have all the answers, and I don't have all the resources, but I do have this platform, and I'm thankful to have this platform, and I'm thankful that I have you guys in my corner, and this is you guys' show. It's the People's Podcast. And I wanted to share these numbers with you guys again because I think it's just so awesome that you help make this happen. I got an email from Good Pods. If you haven't downloaded the Good Pods app, it's a award-winning podcast app. Again, that's Good Pods. They sent me an email in congratulating the show, and it says the Progressive Vibe has made the following top listener charts on Good Pods. Number 4 in the top 100 independent politics charts. Number 19 in the top 100 politics charts. And number 22 in the top 100 independent news chart. Couldn't did this without you, literally. And so I wanted to share this with you because you made this possible. You made this happen. And we're going to continue to provide the truth to power here. We're going to continue to speak truth to power. And we're going to continue to progress together. We will be back next week with a brand new episode. So be looking forward to that, guys. Again, I hope you enjoyed today's program and the news. Coffee mugs coming soon. It's a work in progress. But until then, guys, stay positive, stay progressive, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out. Love you guys.